Mike says he confronted you and says, "Where's my downfall, Greg? Where's my downfall?" To which you replied,
it's all good, man.
I agree with
I
you.
don't, you're not allowed to debate me. I'm a PhD. I would never say that. Never in a million years do I ever mean that.
You are presuming you know more than me about the thing I'm one of the top experts in the world in, and also the thing I'm literally involved in myself. So whatever ideas you have about how I can improve, just right off.
And so they just agreed. Mike Israetel and Fuad just said, "You're all allowed to debate me." And so that's what's happening. It's simply a debate. We're questioning things. We don't think that that PhD was very good. How is it wrong to do that? If you want to critique anyone's work, you can. Solomon went over Jeff Nippard's training programs and showed one was physically impossible, you couldn't do it, and proved that the other one made no sense. 54 sets for a body part in a week, not in a month, in a week. And Jeff Nippard, since then, has now stated, hey, you know, science said more sets, more volume all along, but I recently experimented on myself and fewer sets are better. And so Mike Menser, Coach Greg, Lyle McDonald, correct all along. But why would we listen to them? I mean, the science said it's not the case. Science can be bullshit. Those short studies with few participants training for 8 weeks, you can't determine what a professional bodybuilder should do by experimenting with soccer moms in a friggin' program.
Dr. Oz says unreal amounts of total nonsense. Dr. Oz is like an award-winning heart doctor, like unreal high level.
And so we have great example, Dr. Eric Berg, we have Dr. Oz, we have various doctors, PhDs who they say a lot of bullshit. And so just because somebody has those credentials doesn't mean that what they're saying is totally valid.
His name is Lyle McDonald. This is like a person who is like maybe one of the most bad faith actors in all of fitness. And he just like jettisoned everyone. He's just in a bad mood, like kind of 24/7.
And so Lyle McDonald, if you go back, has done numerous debates against Mike Israetel and others. And because he didn't go along with what they were saying, he wasn't part of that circle jerk. You know what I'm saying. He's been outcasted by those types of scientists who disagree with him. Lyle, as much as 4 and 6 years ago, was talking about how all this volume was nonsense. He debated them, said the science, it doesn't make sense what they're saying, it the way they tested them and so on. Isn't it funny how now it's come full circle? The circle jerk is now being forced to look back and say, do we really need to do 50 sets per body part? Is it really true? I mean, Jeff Nippard himself just released a training program with a couple of sets per body part per workout. A couple. Not 10 to 20, as was previously stated, and not even close to the 30, 40, and 50 plus that previously people were saying you needed in order to maximize growth. And I'm saying need. They literally said that. I was watching a video, Lyle and Mike debating 6 years ago, of which they stated need to do more volume. 15 minutes into that video, science says more volume, need more volume.
Around in circles, so I'll drop
What did they
this
say
here.
exactly, Lyle? Can you repeat that last line they said?
Those seeking to maximize muscular growth need, not may need, might not to allot a greater amount of weekly time to achieve. They are saying more is better with no qualification.
Thank you, Greg.
It didn't say may need, it says needs. More volume, more growth. How can you say that? Do I need more volume to grow more muscle? Did Jeff Nippard need more volume to get more growth? He did less volume, aka half. He did a video on this and got more gains than last time while dieting. And so unless he's on performance-enhancing drugs while dieting, which I don't believe is the case, I mean, there's no blood work to prove this, but unless you think that Jeff Nippard would stoop so low as to go on steroids or SARMs in secret, then you have to assume that doing less volume, in fact, improved his performance. And he's in his 30s. And so what have I said all along? Train harder than last time. Now, Jeff Nippard thinks that I named my company to embarrass him, to make fun of him, because he didn't train hard enough when doing deadlifts because he hurt his back. He said this. He texted this to Solomon in private. And so, how many of you trust Jeff Nippard?
The entire HTLT brand is an acronym that originated from videos falsely claiming I wasn't training hard based off one clip of me deadlifting during back injury rehab.
trying to make me look as bad as possible.
Right.
Which again is really good journalism, you know, because like this guy is like a lawyer or something. I don't think he's a trained scientist.
And so look, he says he's like a trained lawyer. He's not a scientist. Oddly enough, Jeff Nippard is a dropout dentista, a science-based lifter, a spreadsheet believer, a supplement grifter, a comment deleter. Jeff Nippard.
I think he's after just like, you know, talking that shit, which again is so dope. Talk that shit.
And so he's saying, you know, it's so dope, talk that shit, but is he not saying the opposite of what he means? I mean, I don't sense that he actually likes it when people talk shit about him. I don't think he enjoys it. I don't think he likes it. He isn't togy.
I actually saw Greg Doucette once at like a conference or whatever, like a expo thing. And there's like a video on my phone that says the downfall of Mike Israetel. And I came up to him, I showed him the thumbnail. I'm like, what's my downfall, Greg?
And so my brother watched this and he wrote me and he says, you know what? I was with you when he approached you, and obviously for an hour to an hour and a half, he was talking to us. And he wants Mike to remember this. This is what was stated as far as that. So I'm going to read his text right now. Mike says he confronted you and says, where's my downfall, Greg? Where's my downfall? To which you replied, Mike, did you even watch that video? And so that's the actual response that I made. Mike is describing that he approached me, which he did, and talked about the video, the downfall of Mike Israetel. Where's my downfall? And I responded, did you even watch the video? To which he replied, no, I didn't. Mike didn't watch the video, he watched the title. The clickbait title, Mike watched that, but he did not see the video. And so Mike, upon seeing that title, he believes that I said certain things. He doesn't know what I said in the video. This happens all the time. One time at the Olympia conference, Jeremy Buendia approached me and he says, what's up with you? You're saying I have a mid physique. This is bullshit. My physique is amazing. And I'm thinking, Jeremy, did you watch the video? Mid physique was what one of the comments was. A person commented and said, this is a mid physique. I said, in that entire video, I complimented you from start to finish. I said, this guy thinks he has a mid physique. He's a Mr. Olympia competitor. And whether he's on steroids or off steroids, he looks absolutely incredible. 99.9% physique at his worst. From start to finish, I had complimented him. But he was mad at me because he thought I had said that he had a mid physique. I read one of the commenters on his wall. He said, oh, I didn't know that. And after that, we're cool. And so Mike did not watch my video. He doesn't know what I said. Downfall of Mike Israetel. Was it in fact a downfall? What exactly did I say in the video? He didn't watch it. And following this, we said, you can't judge a title by a clickbait title. You can't judge what the person says in the video based on the thumbnail. You can't do that. We said, just because some people go and write comments doesn't mean that that is what I said. And so if you don't even watch the video, how do you know it was stated? And so remember, Mike did not watch Solomon's video. He didn't watch it. He admits that himself. And then he says he made a video with bad faith, that he said a bunch of lies, that he tried to make him look bad on purpose. He didn't watch the video. And so how can Mike say what he did or didn't do? He didn't watch the video. He says, I don't watch other people's videos because he doesn't want to know what people are saying. It hurts his feelings. He doesn't want to feel those emotions, and so he avoids watching them. He just assumes they're all bad.
I think he's after just like, you know, talking that shit, which again is so dope. Talk that shit.
So is that not Mike's own problem? If he doesn't even watch the video, he doesn't know the claims or the stipulations he made. And so how can he respond appropriately? Steve then responded and he told Mike this. He said, look, I have people calling me gay and incestual with my own brother in comments, and I literally don't have any public image and don't put myself out there and make stupid comments on the internet. I then said, I get people commenting that I am retarded in person. That's Jeff Nippard said Steve is retarded, was cursing him out and so on. Steve is not making this shit up, and that I am a terrible person. To which he said, but you are. Mike Israetel said to editor Steve, you are a terrible person. The guy he's never met, who has no fitness persona. He doesn't make videos, he doesn't have statements. Mike says, you're a bad person. Steve then replied, how can you even say that when you don't even know who I am? He doesn't know editor Steve. He hasn't seen a single video of Steve. He doesn't know what he's saying. He's one of 4 editors who edit my videos. People on the internet would make fun of my brother. They'll say horrible sexual things that I can't repeat. We don't want the video to get demonetized. Saying he's incestual. putting him down, all for what? Why? They don't know his thoughts. They don't know his expertise. They don't know that he knows way more about statistics than Dr. Mike or any of these guys. And so if he simply listened to those comments, how would he feel about his self-esteem? It wouldn't be good. And so we said, Mike, how are you going to let bro from Bangladesh affect you? You have millions of followers. You're making millions of dollars. Who cares what these people say? This is what we told him. This is things he's omitting in this interview. As Steve said, how are you going to say I'm a terrible person? He said, you hang out with Greg. And so because he's my brother, it's assumed that he's a bad person because I make clickbait videos. That's the extent of this. This is what these people are saying. And so imagine hating on someone because they know someone. You're friends with that person, therefore I automatically hate you. Is that not racism? What is the term when you hate somebody's brother because they're their brother? Brother hateism? I don't get it. And so that is what actually happened. And so let that be known. I feel like it's like the Solomon. Henceforth, let that be known, thouest to all. And so Steve is saying that interaction didn't go down at all, like Mike is explaining. It actually was more me and Greg trying to convince Mike to not be so caring about what a few percentage of people on the internet think. We even said, if only 1% of your fans don't like you, that's tens of thousands of people. And if you can't stand the hate, you can't handle it, then you're in the wrong business. You shouldn't be making videos. And so my brother said, why do you think I'm not on the internet? And so if Mike Israetel, who's supposedly a great philosophical thinker, a man with an IQ over 160, you would think he would understand these things. If even he can't handle the negativity, the criticism, the people putting him down, then what chance does Steve have? What chance do the rest of us have? And so there's a certain type of person that can handle making videos, handling criticism, haters, and so on. Steve went on to say, you know, I think you're very smart. I enjoy your videos. I've watched even your other channel. And some of the things you said, I really enjoy listening to you. However, I really don't like the gay jokes. Like, there's too many. If you did it once in a while, it would perhaps be funny, but why every single video, joke after joke after joke? Mike's response, because it's funny. Steve then said, well, not everyone finds it funny. Mike responded, well, it is funny, so there. Enrique! So there. You know, I'm Mike, and I think it's funny, and it is funny, and so there. You're wrong. Enrique! Well, I think that other people's humor is different than his own. You can't just assume everyone likes it. And so why do these jokes? It diminishes his credibility. It makes him seem lesser, not more. Why can't you simply deliver these videos without putting other people down? The jokes, the disparaging remarks. I mean, Mike thinks it's funny, but not everyone does. And Mike has every right to do the jokes that he wants. But if he's saying that, hey, I don't want to do this kind of content and you can do this, but you can't do that, and it's not nice to do this, and well, if you do that kind of video, then you're a bad person. Solomon is wrong because he did this. And well, if Solomon can't critique you and that he's just doing it in bad faith, how can you know that? You don't know Solomon. You don't know his intentions. You just assume it because you saw a clickbait title. He then said, my jokes are funny, but Greg's jokes are not. He stated that people can tell that Mike's jokes are funny, that they're not serious, but that my jokes, they're not funny because people don't know that I'm not being serious. Since that time, Mike has reevaluated things and realizes that Coach Greg, it's like the WWE. I'm playing a character, I'm having a good time, I'm making jokes. When I say the proper tan and have a Blue Lobster fart noise, organs chiming in the background, he now understands it's actually kind of funny. Before this time, he thought, no, it's so serious. Coach Greg, bad person. He not be funny. How is it not funny to have a lat spread with a Blue Lobster and an organ chiming in the background? That's funny.
And I think Greg maybe doesn't understand or care that some, I think, small fraction of people really think this is like real stuff and will really hate you because Greg Doucette said you're bad.
Yes, we know, Mike. Some people, they don't get it. Their IQs are not all over 160. In fact, 50% of people's IQs are below 100. I mean, Togi's IQ is 79. And so, yeah, some people are going to write some comments, but you can't let that ruin your life.
When you understand that about Greg and about this other guy, then it's easy to step back and be like, oh, this is just like internet stuff.
Exactly. It's just internet stuff. It's not that deep.
I don't mind people doing journalism. It's too bad we have people that have to make their money by bringing others down.
And so Fuad says, I understand there has to be journalism, but I just wish that people wouldn't take other people down. Mike then jumps in, well, I've done journalism where I took other people down, charlatans, I'll make fun of their training programs, people who are lying, perhaps the Liver King and so on. And so there's always an exception. And so when is it okay? When is it not okay? If Mike does a horrible PhD thesis with 200 plus mistakes, the tables are wrong and so on, and Solomon critiques that, is that not allowed? Why can't he do that? But we're allowed to make fun of the Liver King, but we're not to make fun of Mike? Enrique! Where's the line? And who decides it?
Folks, on the internet can absolutely think I'm a charlatan. I don't take it personally. I think it's totally cool. I don't think I am.
And so Mike says, look, some people can think that Mike is a charlatan. Some people think that I'm a charlatan. People think that I'm lying about Turk Builder Max. Even though we know that Derek has done this, people will still say he's selling snake oil, even though it's exactly what we claim it to be. Oh, only more. Above and beyond label claim. And so how is that a bad person? Oh, and you know that there's a money back guarantee and a $20 gift card on top of that, right? And so I'm somehow a charlatan? Really? Selling you exactly what I say I'm selling you. And if you don't get the gains that you're expecting, money back guarantee. Oh, it's a bad person. It's horrible. You're ripping people off. Really? So when I spend $2,000 on Balenciaga shoes, are they ripping me off if it only cost them $30 to make? Or when some rich guy spends $100,000 on a bottle of wine, are they being ripped off? Or that painting that's sold for nearly $500 million. $500 million. It can't cost $500 million for a photo. Or did it? Enrique! And so if you can buy something, and if you don't like it, you can bring it back, how are you being ripped off? Hey, buy these Balenciaga shoes and wear them for a couple weeks, and if you don't like them, you can bring them back. Is that a scam? I don't think the Balenciaga shoes are gonna take them back, but take your Turk back if it didn't work. And so where's the scam, guys? Where is it? Now, I understand if it's, for example, Turkplex, and you think that you're buying a Juga and it's actually cyanosis, well, that's not so cool. Or if I had to try to make more money than last time by buying those $5.85 bottles. $5.85, this is $100. This one's 80. I could have bought it for $5.85. The profit margins are over 1,000%. It's insane. Didn't do it. Integrity. What about Derek? What about Derek and other companies? And so whatever Turk you have right now, if you're watching this video and it doesn't look like this or this, see it? If it's not these, what do you actually have? I would bet a shit freaking ton of money that you have the plant cyanosis. It still has ecdysteroids. It still can work. Not as good as this. And so when we sold Turk back in the past and it was cyanosis, didn't mean that you couldn't make any gains. Remember, people are going to comment about this. 4 or 5 years ago, I was selling a product called Turk Builder, and I said I put on 4 pounds of muscle in a month, of which I did. I was taking 8 pills a day. 8. The maximum dose that I've ever taken on these is 3. I was taking 8. 4 pounds of muscle in a month. Did it happen? Yep. Do I claim it happened still to this day? Absolutely. I never put on any fat. I put on 4 pounds. If I said there's people that put on more than 4 pounds of muscle in a month taking creatine, they're hyper responders. It's not my fault that I respond perhaps better than you. Maybe you didn't put on 4 pounds. I did. I respond to everything. I'm a hyper responder. Remember, I'm an IPB pro. I take HRT, of which I'm on right now, 140 milligrams, and look at the results at 50. I train twice a week. I race bikes. How do I have this much muscle? It's not fair. Perhaps you're jealous. I have better genetics. What am I supposed to do about that? It's not a lie. It's not a scam. Money back guarantee. $20 gift card. Code Greg, 15% off. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 bloops. Coaching, click the link in the description. And of course, Algorex for blood work, for Cialis, Tadalafil, Ozempic, and Terzipatide. Whatever you need, get to Algorex, code Greg 10% off. It's about half the price of other companies like Merrick Health and so on. And remember, these are doctors that prescribe you this medication. It's all legal. It's not some underground lab. And it's pharmaceutical medications, and it's going to be very easy to get. The doctors prescribe it to you legally. It takes you a couple minutes, and it's about half price of these other companies. And so what do you have to lose? Get to Algorex. And until next time, I am out.